Ivan, step out here.
You got a warrant for your arrest. Yeah, so it's for murder charges.
This is 60-year-old Illene Gowan. She is briefly seen here leaving this apartment complex with a briefcase. This is the last time she would ever be seen alive.
911, what's the address for your emergency?
So we were driving down the road to go shooting, and there is a dead body on the side of the road.
Eileen's body would be found 13 days after the last time she was seen on CCTV. Police believe she was entangled in a deadly love triangle prior to her murder. But over the course of the next several months, this cold case would turn out to be far more complicated and even more disturbing than they could have ever imagined.
When me and her broke up, she moved in with a guy, and he tried to mess with her.
And all I know is his first name's Sam. They said we told her it was a bad deal with him.
Because he's telling me if the cops get behind him, he's going to run into a tree.
Turning westbound on
166, be advised. It's their grandfather in the car, and he called them saying that he's possibly going to try to crash the car.
On the morning of February 13th, 2023, a message was sent from the phone of Eileen Gowan. It was short, it was blunt, and it felt final. "Leave me alone, I'm done." The message was sent to her workplace at Sugar's Lounge and Diner in Council Bluffs, a place Eileen had worked at for years, a place where she was known, trusted, familiar. But by the end of that day, Eileen Gallen would vanish. No calls, no explanations, and no trace. And what initially appeared to be a sudden decision to walk away from her life would soon reveal itself to be something far darker. Because behind that final text was a secret, a deadly love triangle, and a man who would nearly get away with murder. Eileen Gowan was 60 years old. She was a mother, a grandmother, a woman described by her family as independent, stubborn, and deeply routine-oriented. She wasn't someone who disappeared. She wasn't impulsive, and she didn't abandon people she loved. Eileen lived a simple life in Council Bluffs, Iowa. She worked steady shifts, paid her bills, checked in with family regularly, which is why when she didn't show up for her next shift later that same day, alarms immediately went off. This wasn't like her, and the people who knew her best would soon tell police something even more disturbing. Eileen had recently been involved with two different men, both relationships tense, emotional, and unstable. Security cameras at Sugar's Lounge and Diner captured Eileen at the end of her shift. The footage showed her leaving the building that morning alongside a man she knew well, Ivan Brammer. Their relationship had been on again, off again, emotional, volatile. Traffic cameras later placed the two of them driving together through the area. At one point, footage showed Eileen sitting in the passenger seat, motionless, slumped, unnatural. It was subtle, easy to miss, but in hindsight, that moment would become one of the most chilling pieces of evidence in the case.
The other day when we were in here, you told me that you got a phone call from her and you went to pick her up from her. So if you can do me a favor and just kind of go through that timeline again. We know that it was somewhere right around at 8:30. So if you can just kind of go through that timeline again as far as...
I'm not too sure on the time.
Okay.
But anyway, she texted me that morning and I didn't text her back. I called her and she wanted to know if I would come and get her because some girl was supposed to pick her up and she ran out of gas. So I went and picked her up and she got in the truck. I left and she wanted to talk to me about helping her get in the apartment because she lived in the same apartment building I did, but she didn't pay her rent, so she got kicked out. So, but she didn't want to go home right away. So me and her just went right down Broadway, and then she wanted to stop at her mom's house. I stopped at her mom's house, And she was in there for, I don't know, 5 or 10 minutes. She come out of there, got back in, and then we was going back down Broadway, just talking some more. And she promised me, she wanted me to drop her back off at his house. But she made me to promise I wouldn't do nothing to him, and I told her I promise. That's the matter of fact, when we get there, we just get out, you walk in front of the truck, I'll go turn around and I'll leave. And she says, okay.
Okay, so you went up there, you dropped her off, then what'd you do?
And as soon as I pulled up, and she didn't want me to go in the driveway in case he was there.
Okay.
And she got out of the truck. When she got out of the truck, she walked in front of the truck, and that's when I went straight, turned around, and came back.
Okay.
And I hit straight home.
So you went back down to the highway, went back down to Kingsville?
You left her there?
Huh?
You left her there?
Yeah.
Or you...
No, she got out of the truck. She didn't want me to come in.
Just a second ago, you said she went in, grabbed clothes, came back out to your truck, and you guys left again.
No. That was at her mom's house.
Hours passed. Eileen didn't return home. She didn't answer her phone, and she never showed up for her next shift. When coworkers tried to reach her, that same message appeared again. Leave me alone, I'm done. Police would later determine something critical. The tone didn't match Eileen. The wording didn't match her speech, and the timing made no sense. Investigators began to suspect the message wasn't sent by Eileen at all. Instead, it may have been sent for her. As detectives dug deeper into Eileen's life, a dangerous pattern emerged. Eileen had been seeing 2 men within a short span of time. Both relationships were strained. Both men had been arguing with her.
We got a small little snap here I need to talk to you about, okay? So you said after you dropped her off, out there off of Highway 191 at that residence, you headed back to your apartment. We checked some of our cameras, okay? And we have a camera at 36th and Broadway. And we have your truck going westbound at 9:28 a.m. going to Omaha, okay? When you pass 36th and Broadway heading west. So you didn't go home, you went over to Omaha, it looks like. Do you remember what you did or who you saw? Where'd you go?
I told you, I went straight home. I don't remember going home.
Well, the camera doesn't lie. It's your truck and it's your license plate number.
Right.
Okay. At 36th and Broadway at 9:28 a.m. Going west toward 480. And then 1 hour later, you're coming back from Omaha and you're going eastbound coming back into Council Bluffs. 1 hour later.
No, we're going home.
Where'd you go?
I went straight home.
Both had reasons to want control, but one name kept resurfacing: Ivan Brammer. When police interviewed Brammer, his story changed, then changed again. He claimed Eileen left on her own, then said she asked to be dropped off, then said he didn't remember. Each version contradicted the last, and investigators were watching closely. Eileen's personal belongings were missing: her phone, her purse, and a small safe containing roughly $1,200.
So basically, as you know, I talked to you on Monday, or Wednesday, I guess, was the first day I talked to you. I had received information from some of the family that you and Eileen were possibly in a relationship, or kind of sort of, she may have lived with you for a few days or a week or so, but if you could just kind of go before Monday, just kind of tell us how you guys know each other, how she ended up out there at your place, that kind of thing, and then we'll kind of move from there.
She was a waitress at Sugar's, and I knew her from in there, and I talked to her before and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then she told me, I don't know, it was like on Tuesday or Wednesday night, that she got kicked out and she needed a place to stay. I said, well, you can stay at my place for a couple of days. I think it was Friday. She called me and she said, I won't be coming back. She says, we're getting back together, her and her boyfriend. Mm-hmm. And all I know is his first name's Sam. I don't know anything else about him.
Okay.
And so I didn't see her. And then she called me crying on that Saturday night. And she said, oh, we got into, can I come out for a day? I said, you can come back out, but you gotta be gone Monday because I can't have this. I'm single. I don't want anything like this going on. So I took her to work Monday morning. I'd been a week ago yesterday. Dropped her off at 5 a.m. And she was supposed to get off at, I don't know, she said 7 or 8. Her daughter was going to pick her up. She's going to go to her mom's and get her safe and take to her daughter's. And then she was supposed to come back and work at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Well, then I get a phone call from the bar saying, hey, have you seen her? And I said, I haven't seen her, I haven't talked to her, nothing. Oh, she didn't show up for work, she didn't show up. I said, I haven't heard anything. And I tried to contact her and couldn't get a hold of her. So I sent her a text message and I said, all your stuff that's bagged up is going to be sitting behind the bar. You got to get it. I want it out of here. I don't want to mess with any more of this. And I never, since 5 o'clock that Monday morning, I'd never had any contact with her, phone, text, or anything. And then I didn't know anything till right before you called me that she'd come up missing.
Has anybody said anything to you that Eileen was saying anything about you? Have you heard anything about her making any statements about you and your behavior while she lived or was staying with you out there?
No.
So you haven't heard that she may have made a statement that you possibly assaulted her while she was out there?
No.
Okay. That statement was made to a couple people that you supposedly laid down on her bed with her and spooned her from behind. Is that?
No.
Can you tell me, is that any of that accurate? Any of those statements?
I would not do that because, like I said, she was a loose cannon.
I mean,
she's scared.
I mean, I guess here's the deal. You're a grown man. She's a grown woman. You know, if there was any type of whatever contact between you that was consensual, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
I mean, she was crying that first night she come out and I helped her.
Okay.
But there was no relationship, no asking for it or anything.
Not long after her disappearance, Ivan Brammer deposited nearly the same amount of money into his bank account. Then, something else happened. Brammer sent his truck to a salvage yard and had it crushed. To detectives, this was no coincidence. It looked like an attempt to erase evidence. On February 26th, 2023, nearly 2 weeks after Eileen vanished, a grim discovery was made. Her body was found in a roadside ditch near Crescent, Iowa.
911, what's the address for your emergency?
I don't really have an address. We're off the exit of Crescent, Iowa, over by a public shooting area.
What's going on?
So we're driving down the road to go shooting or whatever, and there is a dead body on the side of the road.
Male or female?
It's female for sure.
Frozen, discarded, still wearing the same clothes seen in the surveillance footage. One shoe was missing. This was no accident. The case officially became a homicide. The initial autopsy could not definitively determine Eileen's cause of death. There were no obvious fatal wounds, but Eileen's family refused to accept unanswered questions. They brought in an independent forensic expert, and what that expert would testify would change everything. The evidence suggested Eileen died from neck compression, a form of asphyxia, not accidental, not natural, intentional. With mounting evidence, prosecutors moved forward. CCTV footage, cell tower data, financial records, and Brammer's own shifting statements. In court, the pieces finally aligned. Ivan Brammer was convicted of second-degree murder, abuse of a corpse, theft. He was sentenced to up to 65 years in prison. That final message? Leave me alone, I'm done. Investigators now believe it wasn't Eileen saying goodbye. It was someone else trying to buy time, trying to disappear her.
Okay, I think you talked to your granddaughter earlier. and she was concerned about you, some of the statements that you made to her. I'm here for you, man. Tell me what's going on. Why are you feeling the way you're feeling?
My girlfriend, it was like a week ago, me and her broke up. She moved in with a guy, and apparently he raped her.
What's his name?
The only thing I know, he goes by Mike. Me and her broke up. She didn't have a place to go. She moved in with him. She told me Friday he tried to mess with her. So I called my son and see if she can move back in, because he kicked us out. So I called my son and see if she can move back in with her. And then I went to his house, got her stuff, took her to my son's. And then the next morning we went to work, and then she went right back to him. So I don't know.
So what comments did you make to your granddaughter that would be concerning this evening?
I just told her I'm gonna go out and have a couple of drinks and that I love her. That's it.
Okay, did you mention something about seeing Grandma tonight?
What's that?
Did you mention something about seeing Grandma tonight?
No.
I would like for you to talk to somebody tonight. I would like for you to talk to a medical professional. Okay, I don't want to have to drag you up to the hospital, but I most certainly will. I think based off of what the granddaughter has told us tonight, and kind of the...
Oh, she call you?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
No. Yeah, so...
She was crying when we went and talked to her. That's she's...
Oh, really?
Yes, she was very emotional.
Her best friend and aunt are currently at the apartment because of what you said.
Wow.
Based off of what they've told me tonight, I'm going to give you one of two options. You can go up willingly and talk to a medical professional tonight.
Okay.
Or I can take you up there and you'll stay there for 72 hours. Okay?
I can't have my granddaughter come get me?
No. Based off of what you've told us and what's going on in your life right now,
yeah,
you need to talk to somebody. I don't think that we will be doing our due diligence to do our job to make sure that you're not going to hurt yourself based off of what's going on with you and your girlfriend.
Right.
Okay? You need to talk to somebody tonight. Okay? And so the best course of action is to go up to the hospital, your choice, to go to talk to somebody about it tonight.
Hello. Good morning. We're looking for your grandfather. Is he here? Okay, just 1 second. Just go. Sam, right? Goes by Sam. Okay. Is there anybody else in there?
No, just him. He's sleeping.
Okay. Has he got any guns or anything like that? Okay. Well, he's got a warrant, so we need to talk to him. Just let that officer in. I'll be right there.
Ivan! Step out here. Show us your hand. No.
No.
Hey.
Okay.
What?
Come here. You got a warrant for your arrest. I'll let you smoke that if you...
Let me put it right here.
No. Oh, you can smoke it. All right. All right.
Get my shoes?
Yeah, we'll get them. Yeah. We'll get them. I'll put
them on the wrist.
Huh?
Put them on the wrist.
I'll explain it here in a minute, all right?
Step second.
Use of force.
What the fuck?
Okay, Pot County will be able to call you in a little bit. Thank you.
Okay.
But the truth surfaced anyway. And today, Eileen Gowan's story stands as a warning that sometimes the quietest endings hide the loudest crimes. This was a crime hunter story.